All right, well, we're taking a little bit of a break and sitting in the sun or sitting in the shade for a minute. The Tennessee sun can get quite wicked. My feet were already starting to burn being up on that porch. But I wanted to show you quick. Here is, there we go. Here is part of the list. All right, so there's a terrible glare. But here's the list. And so these are all the things that are overdue, and this is what has to be done today. And these are the things that I've already completed. Okay, so that's what I'm going by. Now, over here, it gives you all the dates as to when you should get everything in, or when to get it in by. Oops. So, yeah, and it's on my tablet here. This is from the, oh, it doesn't say. Here it is. Seed time. So, in the future, I will go ahead and make a actual video and show you the Seed Time app. And that way, if you guys are interested, you can go ahead and I'll put a link in the description. And that way you guys can go ahead and check that out. So, right now, like I said, we're taking a bit of a break. We're in the shade for a couple minutes. Chance is rolling in the hay. You can see she's covered in hay. Chance, yeah, look at her. Filthy, dirty dog. Just covered in hay, but having a good time. It is a bit windy. As you can see, the flag is waving and the wind chimes are blowing. So we're just taking a quick break, cool my feet off, and then we'll get back to more of the starting seeds. So I just figured since I was sitting here taking a break a half a second and cooling off my feet, getting a nice cold drink of water, that I would clue you in on where I'm getting this list and how I know it is due or overdue and all that fun stuff. So, and like I said in a previous video, I make things more complicated than they should be because I have to brainstorm, where's everything gonna go? Where did I have things last year? I also think about, you know, where I had things last year, especially like the flowers and some of the perennials. As you can see, the parsley is still kicking. I don't know if it's going to make it through and thrive this year, but I'll probably just leave it be and see if it grows and just transfer that tier to another position in the tower, because it is on the bottom and it has held quite a lot of water, excuse me, over the winter and this rainy beginning of spring season. And I'll probably leave some of the tiers where I know the seeds from the flowers and the heads of the flowers have fallen onto the soil, and I buried them in the soil. I'll leave those and see if they come up, and probably just plant more seeds around them to make sure that we get more flowers. So as I'm sitting here taking a break, I'm looking at all of the pots that had basil in them. That one had Thai basil. This one here in the back had Thai basil. It also had tomatoes. A bunch of them had the cherry husk tomatoes in them. This one over here has, it was made out of some sort of a clay, and so over winter it absorbed too much water, split and broke, and that's got my mint in it. So I'll have to find another pot to put the mint in. Back there you can see all that stuff that looks like grass is actually my chives. So I did clip them down a hair last week sometime when I told you I was going to clip them. they have grown drastically since then. So here before too long, I will go ahead and clip them again. And that way, I'll probably put something else in there. That pot also had the purple tomatillo in it. Tomatillo, whatever. It had a tomatillo or tomatillo in it, and it was a purple one with a husk. But anyways, that's what it had in it. So the onions, from my understanding, when you plant onions or basil with your tomatoes or tomatillos, however you pronounce them, I think it's tomatillo. But you can plant basil or you can plant onions with those kinds of plants, like a companion plant, and that helps it to help keep some of the pests away. I personally have found that whenever I grow tomatoes, and when I put the basil in with the tomatoes, and that keeps away a lot of the tomato hornworm and aphids and a bunch of other things. So they work good together. So that's the way I do it. So sitting here looking at all of these pots, I'm trying to figure out, okay, which pots can I sacrifice? Which pots do I want to just leave? Do I want to try and put a different crop in the soil this year of these pots so that I'm rotating the crops and still building the soil? One of the things on the list, it says to start today, is the little peas, my dwarf peas, which are kind of like a snow pea, and I like to put them in my soups. I like to put them in my salads, so I have to start those today, and I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to put them, because I really want to put them in with my potatoes, but it's not time to grow the potatoes yet, start the potatoes yet, and I don't have soil to put in the box for the potatoes, and I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to put the potato box. I might just leave it where it's at, next to the stairs, but I might relocate it. I don't know yet. So that's the self-complication, is that you just never know. I overcomplicate things. I'm always worried about where I'm gonna put things. Are they gonna get enough sun? I've got these little seed pods from the trees that are in these pots, and we definitely don't want to grow trees in these pots. So as I'm noticing them, I'm removing them quick. Here's another head to a zinnia. Somehow it came from Tower 1 and ended up down here in this pot. So we'll let it be for now. And then I'll either pull it out or I'll let it be. Oh, and then again, here's another complication. In this soil, you can see these little fuzzy things. And inside, you can see there's seeds in there. These are seasoned seeds for my favorite of all tomatoes, the ground cherry husk tomato. And those I usually grow a bunch of, so of course I always have way too much basil. But, and most of the time I just let it go to seed and save the seeds. But I like my tomatoes, and so I have left a lot of them sitting on the soil to season, and you don't have to cover them much, a 1/4 of an inch. You cover them with just a little bit of soil. As soon as it gets nice and hot, just like any other tomato and the pepper family, they will start to germinate and they will grow. So I'm definitely going to have to scoop all of them up out of these pots, so I don't have 100 million cherry tomatoes, ground cherry tomatoes growing and self-seeding before it gets too late. So I'll be able to save them and won't let them get completely started. We'll put them in a brown bag and stick them somewhere where it's cool and dark until I'm ready to start them, or I will put them in my seed container and hold on to them for next year. So that's break time. Now it's back to work, and I'm contemplating, come on and turn on here. What is the next step? I think what we're going to do is I will start some Bloomsdale spinach because that needs to be done. I will probably put that near the crap. Alrighty. I had to get the little dog inside because she's making way too much noise and Ben has to sleep. So I'm thinking I'm going to put the spinach up with the kale, and I might actually start a couple of the bunching onions with the kale and the spinach. That way, with all those leafy greens, we need to have something as a companion plant to keep some of the critters away. Let's see here. This is done. All right. And I might even put a little bit of dill in there too, just so that, yeah, I'll probably put some bunching onions in those pots next to pockets next to the kale. So we'll have kale and spinach and dill. And then I'm going to start the bunching onions and the scallions in one of the green towers, if not in both of those, so that we've got those going. Now I can transplant the bunching onions, so that's why I'm going to put them in the green grow tower, because I can always pull them out, separate them, and stick them with the tomatoes when I go and transplant the tomatoes into the front yard and work on building a trellis for those tomatoes, because they are an indeterminate tomato. So you get to see the thought process that goes along with all of the chaos in my planning. Seed time does make it easier, but my thought process and my thinking always makes things complicated. So welcome to my world. All right, so let's go ahead and get that started. We're going to go ahead and do a couple of pockets of spinach, because that's one of the things that goes in my salads, and it also is something that we feed the dogs. So, and I'm trying to keep track, make sure that I'm growing enough of these things that I'm feeding or adding into the dog's food. That way we don't have to purchase them as much, and we'll have them on hand. It's going to cut our grocery bill, and it's going to make them delicious food and me amazing salads. So, that's what we got so far. So that's what we're going to do. Let's go up on the porch and start with the spinach. So I'll pull out the spinach, and that is going to be the Corinta hybrid spinach. I think that's the only spinach. Oh, and I have Bloomsdale spinach. So we'll put some Bloomsdale spinach and Corinta spinach. I'll probably separate them between the two orange towers. A little in one and a little in the other. And we'll start a couple of dill next to them. So let's get up there and get that started. Okay, for this spinach, it takes 7 to 14 days to germinate. You sow it a ½ inch deep in the soil. You can space it an inch apart. It takes 45 to 48 days to be ready for harvest. So I'm going to make the labels and poke some holes and get that done. I'll show you when I get there. Okay, now this is the Bloomsdale spinach. And this is an older seed as well. I used this one last year, and it was from a big box store. So I think I'm going to put like 3 seeds in each pocket, and I have 3 pockets. So, see, there's the spinach, there's the hole, and there's the seeds in the hole. So, I'll do that with the other 2 holes and come back. Now, because this soil is a little bit drier, I'm going ahead and dampening it up a little bit, and then I will pull the dirt down over top of it, dampen it up just a hair more. Here you can see how dry that soil is. So we're just gonna go ahead and get it a little bit moist, because seeds don't start without water. So we'll get it moist there, cover them up a hair. Alright, we'll give them some more water, make sure they're nice and moist. And then of course I will go ahead and come back and cover the holes of these pockets with some vermiculite to keep the soil covered and make sure that all the nutrients stay in there. It says, Justin Rhodes says, Mother Nature does not like to be naked. So a lot of people use wood chips or straw or hay or some sort of cover on their soil. And I prefer to use vermiculite. So that's what I'm going to do. Looks like this is another 20-minute video. So we will come back for part 2 of the spinach. Thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. Hit the bell to make sure you get all of my videos. And I will see you on the next video. Until then, remember, you are someone, you do matter, and I love you. Ciao now.